Welcome, everybody, to another episode of On the Range podcast with War HOGG Tactical and Kelly Defense. How's it going today, Rick?
Mark, it's going great, brother. Hey, for the viewers, listeners out there, just want to thank you guys for tuning in. I know your time is precious, and I can't thank you enough for spending a little bit of your time to tune into us. If you guys like what you're hearing, make sure you hit those subscribe buttons, the reviews, give us a rating. I don't care if it's a thumbs up emoji, and you know what? Share with your friends. So,
yeah, buddy. It's a dream to be able to sit here with you and reach out and have people actually listen and pay attention to what we're doing. It's a pleasure every day. We have a great show today, by the way. Why don't you go ahead and introduce our guest?
Yeah, buddy. So our guest is Mike Kurcina. He is the founder of spotterup.com. If you guys have not checked out SpotterUp, definitely give them a shake. They've got an ultimate website of just reviews, media. I'm not going to steal Mike's thunder. I'll let him go into it a little more. Mike is one of our unique guests where he is a two-time veteran. You're probably going, two-time veteran. Yep, he is both a veteran of the United States Army and the United States Marine Corps. So, Mike, thank you for your service on that one.
Yeah, buddy.
He is also the author of We Fight Monsters. I'll let him talk more about his book there. He's an ultra-distance runner, a history buff. And you know what? His mantra, man, I mean, here's the thing. I'll either find a way or I'll make one. Boom. I mean, that sums up Mike. So, Mike, welcome to the show, brother.
Yeah, buddy.
Hey, what's up, guys? Thanks for having me on, man.
Oh, yeah, thanks for being here, pal. How's things going? Where about are you, if you don't mind saying?
I'm in Virginia, man. I'm about 35 miles southeast of D.C. So if I want to see the craziness, I can go up there. And if I want to get away from that weirdness, I'll stay where I am and hunker down, man.
Yeah.
And so.
Now, I know Rick mentioned spotterup.com. That's an interesting website. That's got a lot going on. Do you describe that as a blog, or to me, it looks like kind of like an online magazine. It's got articles, it's got, reviews, it's got, video content. How do you describe it?
Man, it is a confusing piece of work, but
awesome,
it's all over the place. It started out really is I wanted to be a receptacle of knowledge for people, and I just started writing articles. I thought, I had a little information to share, and then it just grew. And we went from about, 1, 2, 3 writers to about 30, 40 guys who contribute. But it is like a magazine, it's got over 1,200 reviews on everything from running to shooting to nutrition, fitness, products from 511 proper, you name it, we have it. And then also we have a lot of other content on PTSD, divorce, whiskey, combat. So it's been a receptacle where people, they want to learn something, what kind of blue jeans do I buy with concealed carry? And, we've got, like Rick is on there on YouTube. Yeah. But Spotterup also has some other aspects that just developed, which was apparel and the book writing. And none of it was intentional. It was just a process. So it just has a lot.
Yeah.
So, Mike, so you got Spotterup going on. I know you wrote the one book. You want to tell people a little bit about that, and then any other books in the works potentially?
Well, yeah, I got a funny book for you guys, man. But I'm going to write a Dookie book. I'm telling you that right now. That's a fact. So it is going to be coming out. It's an outhouse book. But so I started with spotterup.com, and then I started on Instagram, and I just started writing content on Instagram, and people liked it. And, it was no desire me to try to preach to people or lecture people or anything. It was just me writing my thoughts and trying to process how I think or feel. And through that, people said, man, this stuff is great. And it's really helping my life. It's changing my life. Can you do a book? And I said, well, I guess I could do that. So I ended up creating We Fight Monsters. And the idea of We Fight Monsters was really just wisdom and inspiration that spoke to the warrior soul. So, I've came up with over 600 quotes that are mine. They're original and writing. And I just pulled it all together and put it in the book. And then that did real well. And I get letters from all over the world. Some people say they love it. And some people, they say this is crap. And I don't know. I mean, my goal is not to care. I'm just doing what I'm doing. Second book I did is We Wrestle Silently. And that's a quote for the warrior soul. And that's really taking all of the, it's a stripped down version of We Fight Monsters. And We Fight Monsters, what is that? It's really, whether it's PTS, suicide, ideation, divorce, a lot of it's really separation. Whether you're a police officer or military or something, you're having a hard time struggling. And I spent a lot of my time on Instagram writing about that is just, where do I fit in? You know, where's my value? What's my meaning? What's my worth?
Yeah.
Third book I've got is coming out in June, and that's called We Make Ghosts. And it's the idea that we create our own apparitions that haunt us. And it may be the death of someone. It may be the death of someone that you can't let go of, and you dream of them all the time. And how do you process it? So it's a devotional. It's each day will give you a quote, and then below the quote, I'll have a paragraph summarizing that quote, and then it'll give you some direction. So, for example, if we're talking about depression, it'll say, call suicide hotline, and it'll give some direction. And then the fourth book I've got, I'm working with Dave Devaney. He's a scout sniper, retired sergeant major. Dave's a great guy, and in the last 30 years, he's collected, basically poop stories, crap stories. And we thought, man, this stuff is so freaking funny. I said, Dave, this has got to go in a book for an outhouse. You will laugh so hard, and they're disgusting stories. But they're marine stories. I mean, come on, they're just marine stories, and they're so nasty. It's just disgusting. And I said, Dave, we got to put this in a book. It's so funny. It's got an audience, so we're going to work on that. But Dave also did another book called We Were Heroes, and that chronicled 50 military heroes that were not recognized, but they got either silver stars or bronze stars of valor, et cetera. And that was a freaking amazing book. So really, really cool. And so, I'll be doing that fourth book, and I've got about three or four more books after that I'll be working on.
Yeah. Well, you got a massive following on both social media and your webpage.
Yeah.
And, you mentioned it, that it was just your thoughts. And I do think that your writing is very authentic. It does sound like just your thoughts, which maybe that's a appeal. It's definitely appeal to me, but there's a lot of interesting stuff on there, like you said. And it's not, you could say it's all over the place, but it doesn't feel like that, because each thing, I could see myself reading. I usually go to the things that interest me most, like most people, but I can see a lot of people just picking something out. There's a lot of things for everybody, not just, veterans and law enforcement. There's a lot of good stuff in there.
Yeah, thanks, man. I mean, I didn't want to do it where it was just appealing to military. I think a lot of people who can, relate to death and pain and sadness. A lot of us are going through something. And what I wanted to do was be authentic. I didn't want to freaking win. And what I dislike is companies or brands, and it doesn't even have to be military. It's just prostitutes. People are just putting out content to get likes. They're putting out content to make money. I never cared about money. I didn't give a darn about it. My thing was to get through my own issues that I was struggling with. And, as I wrote, I wanted to just write. And in the process, people were connecting with that. But yeah, it's for the civilian. It's for the woman, the young man who maybe wants to go in the military and doesn't know how to process what he's going through at that particular time. And I just hopefully it helps him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So real quick, Mike, Brad just wanted me to, so again, just one of our viewers, just wanted you to know he loved the article on being prepared to go to all of the Last of the Mohicans. So just said great stuff. So just a little throw out on that one. But, I want to circle back on something, because you hit something that's kind of a key point for us here on the show. And that's really just trying to help people out there, right? So you kind of hit the nail on the head when it came to, military law enforcement. We see suicide rate out of control. And again, this is just Rick's guess, but I think a lot of it has to do with, there's some demons people are fighting with, but there's also when people separate from that organization, whether it's military, law enforcement, first responder, whatever, their identity is tied to that. And they haven't quite thought of, hey, what is my purpose once I step out? And, if you're one of those guys out there that's listening, close to either retiring, transitioning, whatever job set you're in, man, start thinking now. And it's funny because I ran into a buddy of mine, earlier today, chatting with him. I think he's like 3-4 years out. Asked him, hey, what are you doing? I don't know. Man, you got to start. Not saying you got to have a solid plan, but just start thinking, because when that door shuts behind you, man, it's nothing but you and the cruel world out there. That's not the time to be going, man, what am I going to do? Or where am I going? Or what's my purpose? Or what's my drive? I mean, can you do it? Yeah, you can, but kind of get set up beforehand. So that's, from me to you, man, keep up that stuff. And I think that's a big thing that we need to do. And I think if we just start getting the word out there more to people, I think you're going to see that suicide rate start coming down. Get people off these meds the VA wants to pump them, and just talk to another, check it out. I may not have been in the same place as you served. I may not have seen the same things, but we've got experiences that are the same. trust me, we can have a conversation. We can get emotional. I've been very vocal as far as being emotional, to the point where I could have had shows, leave it on the editing room floor, but it's like, nope, stick it in there, because guys need to start healing. And I think that's the biggest thing. Just because you're emotional makes you no less of an alpha.
Yeah.
So
not at all, man. Exactly. And you're right. You're right. I wrote a book, post the other night called More or Less Alpha. And it's how we as men just deride other men because they're less of an alpha than us, you know? That guy's a, sissy, man. I'll smash his face in, it's pathetic. And that's just, some petty jealousy or a dislike of yourself, I think, that you can't, contain yourself, and your feelings are so hostile to other people who are doing well. If they're doing well, great. If they're supporting masculinity, if they're supporting men, why not, man? Let's have these guys on our side of the fence. We don't want guys on the other side of the fence. We already have that with the liberal mentality, the woke culture, the cancel culture, and everybody out there is telling men how to be men. My wife knows. I never tell her how to be a woman. She never tells me how to be a man. And that's funny. And guys do it all the time. Like, my wife, she's awesome. She's like, I will never tell you how to be a man. You're a dude. That's just the way it is. And I said, thank you. Yeah. And I respect her, And so, yeah, you're right, Rick. I mean, the thing is, a lot of people never make the connection. First, they have to, say, I have value. And then they also have to say, people have worth. And then they have to say, life has meaning. And if they can do that, then they'll say, I can find my purpose. What happens is people say, I have meaning. You're a piece of crap. I'm cool. Mm-hmm. You suck. And what happens is there's a major disconnect right there. They don't realize there's an intersection with all people. With all human beings. I don't care. You guys know that, whether it's race, color, creed, religion, anything, there's some type of intersection. And we have to respect other people's points of views. We don't have to agree, but we can say, okay, I respect your right to state what you want to state. However, this is truth and this is the direction we're going to go. And people do have a hard time separating. I had a lot of difficulty separating. That was very, very tough for me. And again, circumstances, life changes so much in your life. You think you have plans, and all the time, your brother dies, or you get in a car accident, your wife leaves you, and then all of a sudden, all your plans go out the door, man. It's like, what the heck?
Yeah. Now, you had to go through service separation twice. Mm-hmm. Now, was the second time, did you learn anything from the first one that helped you prepare for the second one?
That's a very complex question. That's a lot to unpack, man. First time was my fault, which was took some advice and I separated, and that just killed me, man. I separated at 19 with an injury, football injury, and that just killed me. Around the age of 25, I said, my God, I hate my life and things are tough. I did not have any plans, and I didn't have any structure, and I didn't have any mentors to get me where I needed to go. Today, in this day of social media, you've got all these resources, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. You have people who can call you. Back then, I mean, I remember back in the day, we saw a dead body on the highway, and we had to go drive about 30 miles to find a payphone to call highway patrol. People don't remember that. And then I didn't even have a dime. I had to find someone with a dime to call. And so, didn't have the resources. So to answer your question, it was tough for me. And that basically wrecked me, man. I spent 19 years trying to get back in, 19 years. Wow. And people said, what's wrong with you? My pop said, what is wrong with you? You're going to be so freaking old. I was 39. The Army just had raised the age. And I said, I got to go, man. I said, it's going on over there in Iraq. I got to get over there. And my dad says, the only guys going to be able to talk to are colonels and officers. They're not even going to be your rank. You're going to be an E1, E2 going in there, and they're not going to talk to you. And he was right. I got in, and that's what I was surrounded by a bunch of young guys. God love them. But at the same time, I did not fit in. But second time, I separated. I had to. I got married, and there were a lot of issues with the family and pressure from the ex-husband and all that. And I had to make a very hard choice, which was I left my dream. So twice I left my dream, which brought me to Spotter Up. And what I created was Why We Fight Monsters. I had to deal with a lot of crap that was going on in my life. And it was tough, very, very tough for me. But it allowed me to create Spotter Up. It allowed me to write the book, and allowed me to touch a lot of lives and talk to people from a perspective that I think they can relate to too, and say, I feel your pain. I know what you're going through. I gave up my dreams to provide for my family. And I was good at what I was doing. I trained myself and got super fit. I mean, I was paying for lessons. I mean, I was ready, and I had to go again. So
awesome. That's unbelievable.
And Mike, that takes a lot. If you want to say to be vulnerable, put yourself out there to go, hey man, here's what's up. Because a lot of guys won't, right? You look at you look at social and everything else and the way that things are nowadays, there's so many fake people out there. And if we would just act like good people, right? Be a good person. How hard is that? Be a good person. Take care of other people. Man, life's easy. But there's no reason to sit there and go, oh, you stink because of that or that. You know what? Just be a good person. If you see a guy struggling, help him out. So, hats off to you for, it takes a lot to sit there and go, here's why I did it. And I wish I could look myself in the face and go, you know what? I should have done some things for my family when I was in. You know what? I didn't. I basically abused them. And that's one of my, if you want to say, things I deal with all the time, pain that I caused my family. Because again, I wanted to do what I wanted to do. So a lot of respect for you on that, that aspect.
Thanks, Rick. I mean, I appreciate that. There was at the place that I had to go, which was to write down my pros and cons, man. I had to write down 4 or 5 jobs that I would possibly do. And I told my wife, I said, I'm going to get out as an E5 and I'm going to be basically unemployed. And that's really what happened. I put out 130 resumes in like 1 month. I heard from 2 places, the police department and a moving company, making $10 an hour. And I took one of the jobs and I said, we've got to start from scratch. And I'm 41 years old. But on the other hand, I always believed I was going to amount to something, and we're doing very well. But I had to write down these jobs. I said, well, maybe I'll do this. Maybe I'll do this. I'll be a security guard, or I can move furniture. I can do this. And I said pros and cons. I'm going to be bored out of my mind, but I'll have job stability. Or I can, try for this. And so you got to do that, and you got to face up to a lot of it. And I think a lot of people have a lot of shame and guilt. There's so much stolen valor going on. You find out from veterans, they just lie because they can't admit, I had to separate. And maybe I did a other than honorable, or maybe I had a dishonorable, or maybe I was injured or something. And they put their whole meaning and purpose and value in that profession. I wrote that post last night called Being and Becoming, that being a soldier is a profession. Being a human being is a condition. And the condition is you can't change that condition. Now, there are certain conditions you can change. You can change your hair color or your shirt that you're wearing, but being a soldier is a profession. That's it. You get better at it, you mature at it, and you separate. Being a human being is a process. Yeah, you grow too, but you really, in a sense, can't change a darn thing. That's just it. And when you can really look at your life as I am somebody, I have value in this world, and I can endure, and I can become something greater, something that's coming out of my soul, something greater. You can arrive at so much. And that's kind of like Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You get your food, air, and water. And what do you talk about? You talk about flow, right? He's talking about self-actualization. When you get your fundamentals together, then, and if you do the work, right? So if you do the work and get to the top and find out what's your next goal, what's your next thing that you're going to create. And that's kind of where I'm at. I know what I was meant to do. And some people never get there because they don't want to do the work. It's too difficult, too hard, and it's too embarrassing. That means you have to really face some of your failures, and you have to be very fragile, and you have to say, I suck at this. I pretty much suck at this. And I need to take all my assets and all my liabilities and put them on a scale and say, now where am I? And that's really what I had to do to get to where I'm at. I had to really put some garbage out there that I hated sharing with my wife. Terrible. Lots of 3 years of counseling, man. But we pushed through, and it's been awesome.
But the beauty of that message, though, and it sounds like it's in a lot of the things that you're talking about, regardless of the content, is that it is a grind. It's not going to happen overnight, and it's okay to stink up the joint every now and then. Shoot, every other episode we do, I stink up the joint, but we still come back the next day. And man, oh God, how can I improve on that? What can I do? Hey, let's rearrange this things a little bit, and just getting incrementally better. And I think that's a great message for people to hear. Hey man, we had to start from scratch twice for you, almost twice. And you look at where you're at now, you're getting ready to work on your 5th book. It's amazing. So good on you, man. And it doesn't take, it's not like, for us anyway, Rick, and correct me if I'm saying this incorrectly, but people think we might be doing extraordinary things because it's a cool show and we're really proud of it and we're happy to be here. We got awesome guests like yourself, but it's really, we're just like you. We're just willing to put in the work and take a little bit of time and know that this isn't going to happen overnight, and it's going to be failures along the way.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. Spotter Up, I modeled it after Hannibal Barca. So he's the one who said, un veniam viam vacuum. I'll either find a way or I'll make one, right? And the idea of that was that I based it off of my 10th grade teacher in my Western civilization class, and this idea that there was a Greek whole man, and there was the idea again that if you worked on all aspects of your life, that you could be more whole than not. And so when they were working on rhetoric or land navigation, or, not land navigation, they're working on rhetoric, or they're working on wrestling or playing the flute or something, I liken it today to where we're doing CrossFit or land navigation or something where we're working on all aspects of our life. And so this is so crazy. I'm looking at myself, man. So I don't even see you guys, man. It looks like I'm blathering on to a mirror.
That's the way
it's
we
like
roll.
A canary looking at a mirror, man. So.
Well, they see us all the time. You're the guest.
Right.
We want to make sure they get a chance to see you.
Sweetness. All right. So Spot Up has 5 aspects of what I term, health. It's your social health, your mental health, your spiritual health, your physical health, right? And those packets there. And so we have a lot of articles on spotup.com. So if you're looking at your body, your physical health, we've got a label called Mission Critical. There's 200 articles on physical health. But we call it Mission Critical. You'll find gear reviews and shoe reviews. We've got spiritual health. So we don't call it that, we call it networks. And so you can go on there, you'll find a lot of really cool articles that are inspiring. But really, that idea that I was trying to promote for Spot Up is that if you work on all 5 aspects, you'll get more whole. And some people don't have that. They only have 2 out of 5. They may only have spiritual health, right? They have their belief system, and then they have their physical health, but they don't have any friends. They don't have any social health. Right? They don't have emotional health. Or some people have 4 out of 5 and they're rocking and rolling, man. They're doing great. And so really a lot of Spot Up and what I'm posting today is really trying to encourage people to say, listen, man, work on those 5 aspects. If you're heavy on one side, work on the lighter side. Work on the areas that you're weak. Yeah, you have lots of strengths. That's awesome. Work on your weaknesses, man. Don't be embarrassed about it. If you suck at swimming, work on it like me. If you suck at running, work on it like me, and get better. And so that's where the Greek whole man came in, Hannibal Barca, and just this quote of finding a way, making a way, and kicking some ass.
Yeah. And Mike, that's the whole thing, man. We're preaching something very similar. Granted, we don't have it broken down. That we just kind of put it in the whole aspect. Hey, man, make yourself 1% better every day. Well, what's that 1%? Again, you've got to look at it, but you're totally spot on with everything you're saying. And I think this day and age, we're very fortunate, I believe, to grow up the time that we did. Very different time. Yep. Minimal communication, go off the payphone. Time meant something, because if they said, hey, we're meeting at time X and you weren't there or didn't let somebody know somehow via the payphone going somewhere else and relaying, you got left behind. So there's consequences. It wasn't just pick up the magic box and get your information. You had to sit there and read the newspaper. Well, what's that? Go, Google it sometimes. It's a pretty interesting concept, or one of your news magazines, or go to the library, or do something to research information. Just wasn't a magic box telling you what the box wanted you to know. You had to go out and decipher that. So, dude, that is 100% spot on. It's amazing, the likeness too, because it's all about just trying to help people make themselves better. And that's probably the biggest struggle I see this day and age is guys and gals. They're out there just struggling with life. And I get it. There are struggles in there, but how do you adapt? How do you overcome? Or in your case, how do you make a way, and get whatever it is you got to get done? So, dude, that's, Superman.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think people get clouded. There's a lot of freaking information streams out there, and which one do you grab? I mean, a lot of what we see right now in the media is propaganda, right? And do you go to the other direction? And you have to have the ability to, filter out a lot of the noise, man. You have to have the smarts. And a lot of what I see men do, and other people do it too, but let's say military, is they only read or only go into those aspects that they enjoy. So they're only going to read gunning magazines, right? They're only going to do CrossFit. They're only going to freaking do this. They never want to learn something new. They're only going to read books on the Spartans. It's like, stop. Go out and do something new that you've never done before. Go learn how to ride a bicycle or motocross or something. Go talk to that dude who is into, I don't know, Indian politics or something. I don't know, but do something that you don't really care for or know anything about and get better at it. I'm not an expert, but I try to mix it up every day so my brain functions differently and I can learn something and say, okay, I really got to work on that. But you're right, Rick. We grew up at a freaking amazing time, man. I mean, just awesome. You went out and played till the lights went on. You didn't have, cell phones, and you created stuff, man. You made stories. You went out in the woods and you freaking, knocked down trees and you fished and you did it all. It was awesome, man. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, super blessed during that time, and you try to see people nowadays trying to do it, but here comes the sad thing. I don't remember, and maybe I lived a sheltered childhood. I don't remember kids getting scooped. I don't remember human trafficking and all this other stuff. And maybe I'd probably be ignorant to say it didn't exist. I'm sure it did. But it just seems like those things have compiled, so much over the years where it's just out of control. And I got it. Most parents don't want to let their kids out of their sight. The thought of today, letting your kid just take off on their bike, be home when, it gets dark to have dinner. Poof. Yeah. I know from, even from, my parenting side, from granted, my kids are older now, but I still worry about them, So, I mean, super fortunate in that aspect just to get out there and get things done, but I want to caveat on what you were saying as far as doing stuff, man, because working the brain, this is another thing, especially to the veteran side, the veteran community is riddled with TBIs, traumatic brain. It's not injury, it's injuries. You sit there, look at the repeated overpressure that guys are getting. And by doing those things, that's what's helping get those neural pathways back. And people are going to go, Rick, what do you know about it? Well, dude, I was the guy that was basically inpatient at the VA for 6 weeks trying to get my brain straight. I couldn't remember people's names. Where'd I park at? I'd have to have my key fob, pressing up in the air going, where's the beep at? It was just a total punch drunk stage. But by working your brains in ways that I've never done before, started rehabbing to at least now, hey man, we've got some brain function back. Silly things like if you're a righty, brush your teeth with your left hand. It just engages a different part of the brain and just helps with that. So I think there's a lot more on to what you're talking about, but 100%, man, keep pushing that message and do something, play an instrument, learn a foreign language, get out of your comfort zone, read some book that you don't, necessarily isn't in your wheelhouse, but definitely.
Yeah, man. I think you need to find a mentor too. I mean, I had a lot of rage and in me a lot of anger, and I'll tell you, it possessed me. It was very heavy all the time, 24/7, man. I mean, I was fighting guys, in traffic. I mean, at stoplights, I was fighting a guy from out of an 18-wheeler, at the main intersection. I'm like, get out of the vehicle, let's do this, And I had to work through a lot of the issues that are very ugly, not happy for my family. And I feel like a different person, but find a mentor. My wife, I thought she was insane. I said, hell, I'm not going. No. And so power went out. So can you guys see me here?
We got you, man.
All right.
I like it.
Let me turn on my cell phone and we can keep going. But my wife found a counselor, therapist who is fantastic and who's now a fantastic friend of ours. And he was very accomplished in his own right, FBI special agent, doctor, master's, PhDs, everything. And I looked up to him. And I think a lot of vets or military or civilians or anyone who's struggling needs to find someone they can talk to. Maybe it's not going to be your brother or sister or dad, but talk to someone who can kind of understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
And they can do it in a way that's very rational, very logical, and they can come up with a lot of facts, and they can help you with that. So,
hey, Rick, Mike Lincoln said, I used to buy my dad cigs at the age of 8.
Yeah.
Man, that's so good. Yeah.
Can you guys see me now, man?
Yeah, buddy.
We got you, man. Looking good. I like it.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny, man. And Rick made a post not that long ago where it was a picture of a payphone, and then inside of the little partition was directions on how to use the payphone, which is unbelievable to me, because that was like a part of your daily life, right?
Yeah. Exactly, man.
West by God, Virginia. Still got payphones. Love that place, man.
Is that where it was?
Yes. West Virginia.
Man. Good for
Yeah,
I
them.
was like, hell yeah.
Yeah, they're saying the hell with you guys. We're going to keep our payphones.
That's it, man.
God, I love that.
Yeah.
So now are you still an ultra runner?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
But
So
I'm not at the level that one of our writers is. He's freaking like one of the top 20 in the United States, man. I mean, guys running sub fives, you know what I mean? For
No
like 50
kidding.
miles.
Yeah, I was going to say that's 50 miles.
He's running
Now-
like 450s for 50 miles. It's crazy, man. You know,
I ran
530s.
sub 5 for one marathon.
Yeah.
Actually, I did it twice, but it was sub 5, you know.
Yeah.
So
Well, one of the really weird tragedies was I was trying to get Tom Ligon to be on my show, and he couldn't. Didn't respond. So I ran with Tom Ligon. Tom Ligon was a senior when I was a freshman at Independence High School in San Jose. What's really sad about it is Tom. I was getting curious one day, and I said, I wonder how some of the old guys are doing. And I looked him up, and I'm like, holy cow! Because most of my friends are like, 100, 200 pounds overweight. They don't work out, nothing. And I'm one of the few guys that stays fit that I know in my age range. And I looked at Tom, and Tom almost broke the mile in the master's level at the age of, I think, 52 or 53. So that he ran a 4:35, which would translate to a 3:57. But what's really sad is,
what's the master's age?
Yeah.
What's
it's like 50 and above. So for the mile. What's really sad was his son was the active shooter at the Gilroy Garlic Festival. He was the 17-year-old or 18-year-old kid that killed 3 people. And so I've always wondered about that. And I don't want to, bring him on the show and talk about that. I was really wanted to talk about his running, but it broke my heart. I thought, what happened there? Did he train so much to neglect his children? I don't really know. It breaks my heart because my son's 19, so that kid would have been 19 too. But Tom, he incredible, man, to be able to do that at that level. But I just didn't know what his home life was, and I speculate. But it's sad. It's a tragedy, man. Very sad story.
God, that's a load. That is a load.
Yeah, but I ran and I still do. I've been running since I was 12, and I'm pretty freaking fast. But Jordan is incredible, man. I mean, Jordan is like, dude. His brother was in Runner's World. He teaches at Liberty. He's a coach there for the track team. And then Jordan is not even as fast as his brother, and he's like, top 20th in ultra distance running for outdoors ultra distance, running. Just incredible athletes, man. A lot of drive.
That's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Unbelievable. So the ultra running, the minimum is 50, right?
Well, there's different. Yeah, I mean, it really depends on what you're running. You see like 50K, and it gets kind of confusing. You see, okay, is it going to be a marathon? Is it 30 miles? You see some of the 30-mile events, 50-mile events, 100-mile events, like the Badlands, or any of these events are pretty incredible. What's his name? The Navy SEAL, Dave Goggins, incredible. That guy's just like, if you're talking about runners like me here, this guy's like, he's from Venus or something. He's out of this world, man. This dude is just incredible. And they're very rare people. But it's not like because he's special because he's born that way. I mean, you've seen him, right? It's because he trains. And he trains his mind. That dude is just rocket ship, man.
It takes work. That's a lot of work.
Yeah, because he was, you look at him prior to going into the Navy, he was like super overweight.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, man.
So it's one of those, you just look at, it's like, if you put your mind to it, you get that determination. It's incredible what you can do. Because it's funny, a buddy of mine did the, the Death Valley run? It's like 150 miles or something.
Oh, yeah.
Something crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. And just listening to stories, right? You have to run. So it's bad enough just running for 150 miles. But then you have to run on that little white line, because if not, you're just melting the soles of your shoes. And I forget how many shoes they burn through this race. But that can't be good, trying to keep your feet right there on that line. That's got to do something to your hips, I would think. Dude,
my buddy, so he lives around here. It's kind of funny. He was working for Spear. That's the one that Dale Comstock did that hit with HVT, remember, in Yemen in 2018. So he was working for that group, and he's only got one leg, and he did a 100-miler. I'm like, dude, you are insane, man. He got his leg blown off in the core, and then got out, and now he's working as a contractor, and he just wants to work all the time. I'm like, dude, you are freaking awesome, dude. I mean,
Wow.
most guys don't even do it on 2 feet. You're doing it on one leg,
Yeah.
with prosthesis, So, yeah, a lot of low vis, low key kind of people who just kick butt, and you'll never hear about it. They're out there crushing it.
So what do you see the future of Spotter Up? You see it evolving into something different? Have you
Definitely.
not got it to where you think you want it to be?
Spot Up is it exists where it needs to be, and I'm really not done with it, but I really want to create a lot more. So Spot Up will always have articles that you can read, and it's great, and I enjoy it. But I want to write a lot of books. I enjoy what I'm doing. I've got a lot of ideas for books, but I also see what's going on in the world, and I'm really upset, and I want to get involved in some capacity. I did reserve a .com called Halo Academy, really a way to pull in trainers and get people trained up. And it doesn't have to be in tactical stuff. It could be just first aid or land nav or, prepping or something like that. Really teach people the basics, 10, 20 students, just teach moms and pops the basics. It doesn't even have to be weaponry, but yeah, I'm pretty upset, and I want to do it in a very calm way. I see what's going on with wokeism, cancel culture, and masculinity, and I'm going to drive a lot more of my content towards how to be more ordered, more organized in your life, and how to get away from feeling so disconnected from the world. The thing is, my attitude on it is, and we're doing YouTube as well. Thanks for asking. So we'll do YouTube product reviews, and I got Rick coming on. We're going to interview Rick on I think next week. No, nice. May 6th. I think we're going to do. Yeah, 2 weeks.
Somewhere, yeah.
So we'll have a lot of cool guests, but I'm going to drive a lot of the content towards trying to exist just on a day-to-day basis. I see a lot of people who are feeling very beat down, and it's very sad.
Yeah.
And so I've told my wife, and screw these people, man. I'm bringing a fight to them. I'm coming for you, This attitude like we need to just shut our mouths and say nothing. No, that's not the way it's going to be. I've always been a fighter. I'm not going to take your crap. So not sure how that's going to come out, but I try to bleed it out on Instagram and Facebook as I can. I'm not going to sign off on Facebook. As long as I have those social media accounts and I can put out stuff, I will. If they shut me down, then they shut me down, but I'll use their tools against them. That's just the way it's going to be. I don't have any other way to do it until I can get big enough or have the resources, the money to do that. But I do want to reach people, and I want to try to tell people, man, don't give up hope, man. Don't give up. Fight's not over. There are a lot of people just waiting, and they're waiting, and they are waiting confidently, and they want to change this culture for the good. And I'm not talking about going out there and shooting people. I'm not even talking about that. I'm just trying to tell people, man, get out there, go to church or whatever you do, and inspire people, man. Do the best you can. If it's just putting out one post on Instagram, or if it's talking to a neighbor and teaching him what's really going on and speaking the truth, do that. Yeah. But don't be afraid.
And that's the whole thing, right? Is with all this crazy culture that's going on, you look at just a lot of people and their self-esteem. Mm-hmm. It's in the crapper.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I was doing a thing with Pat Mack last week, and I posed the question to the group, who's the best person in the room? And I purposely think about it, look around, see who's all in here. There's a lot of people, if you want to say different things, think about it. And my whole driving factor was I'm always the best person in the room. And it should have been them. But, it's that whole mindset. And it's not an arrogance. It's just a self-confidence. And I think that we have so much lost it in this country. It's not being arrogant, it's being self-confident in yourself. And you sit there and go, what can't you do? Well, there's nothing you can't do. Now, granted, one guy brought up, can't have a baby. Well, you're true, but you can't.
Dude, there's one in every room, bro.
Right,
yeah,
right.
It's like you're just work with me here, right?
Yeah, work with me.
Nothing you can't do. Be an honest broker. Go, hey, I may not be the best, right? I may not be the best baby haver, but there's nothing you can't do. And it's just looking to get people in their self-worth, their self-esteem. That's where I see the biggest lacking. Who is society to say you're wrong for being masculine? Hey, I'm a guy. Sorry, dude. I got facial hair. Yep, that's me. Sorry. We need to sit there and get that back. Quit worrying about everyone else's feelings, because like you were talking about earlier, we can agree to disagree. Let's just have a conversation. The Constitution gives us that right for free speech. Hey, Let's chat back and forth. I don't have to agree with you, but we're gotten into such a place. It's like, well, what if you hurt their feelings? And I hate to say it, get some thick skin. There's got to be a little bit of resiliency to people where, I'm not out there maliciously bad mouthing people, but if I sit there and go, hey, here's what I see. Okay, cool. Mike can go, well, I think this, Mark can go, I think this, and we can all agree to disagree because we all got our opinions. Nothing negative. It's just, we just need to get more of that in, kind of today's day and age, and let's get back to some normalcy if we can. So,
yeah, totally agree with that, man.
Debate is under attack, and it's unfortunate because that's where, even in the hard sciences, that's where debate comes in, and people talk and they try things, they argue what they believe is the correct way, and you get innovation from that and discovery from that. If you take that away, a lot of that stuff's going to stop. You know what I mean? There's no debating in hard sciences, but
wait, you need your fact checker.
You need your, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
exactly.
Dude, it's like I wrote on that post the other day. I said, the crisis in argumentation today is that men no longer use their wits; they use their fists. And yeah, I'm okay. All right, let's debate. And if you want to go ahead and roll, let's go, man. I mean, I'd rather be civil, but you're not going to push me around. And there are a lot of people like that with this attitude. They're going to use facts. Their facts, their wits, and everything else at their disposal. Learn how to debate. Learn what's going on in the world. And
did we lose him?
I don't know if we lost him or if he just froze up. Let's give him a second to come back. I know exactly what he's talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know exactly what he's trying to say and what he's saying. Here we go.
Oh, yeah. There he is.
We got you back, buddy.
Yeah, yep. Sweetness, man. So people need to learn not to be afraid. If they get slapped on the hand, then so what? I mean, what's the damage? You're going to get shot? You're going to die? I mean, what's going to happen to you if you post something that someone doesn't like and they snitch on you? Big deal. We have to stop being so conditioned by using social media that we're afraid to speak out because we got censored on Facebook or something.
Yeah.
We have to turn back on them.
Yeah. And you hit the key point, being censored. Mm-hmm. You're very right to say what you want is being expunged. I mean, here's the thing. If I get on there and let's talk about whatever, pick whatever topic you want, it doesn't matter. And if the quote unquote fact checkers say that was wrong or that was whatever, you telling me I don't have an opinion? You're removing my opinion from the equation? Because what if I just put my opinion? My opinion is X. Fact checkers say that's not true. Well, no facts, buddy. It's my opinion. That's the problem. That's where we're riding on that dangerous line. Because now, in essence, in my opinion, you're almost inoculating a society not to think.
Yeah.
Because you know what? You might get penalized because God knows we all love the magic box and you've got to get acceptance and how many friends you've got on there and all this other rubbish. Okay, cool. It's a platform, at least for me, to get my information out there to people on a marketing standpoint. If you're going to sit there and take what I say and that hurts your feelings, sorry. Yeah. Not the intent, but it's also, if you want to sit there and have a civil conversation, have a civil conversation. But, that's the problem, man, is we're just slowly just getting pushed into a corner where thinking is no longer acceptable.
Yeah, and I think there's going to be a lot of people out there who are going to step up. I'm going to, and I'm trying. I see other guys that have got some great pages and they're doing it. My brother told me, when I was young, he said, you don't worry about the guys on your side of the fence because you can tell who they are. They're your allies, right? You don't worry about people on the other side of the fence because you know who they are. They're your enemy, right? Or there are people that you need to convert to your way of thinking, to try to condition to your way of thinking, to get them to see your truth, the point of view that speaks well. But you also, so it's not about guys on your side of the fence and the guys on the other side of the fence. It's the fence sitters. Those are the people who can go either way. They waffle. And you have to do it in a way that connects with them, man. You have to be able to use reasoning and compassion and empathy and other tools in your toolbox to try to get them to your point of view without scaring them away or making them angry. And that's kind of really what we have to do is we have to speak up. A lot of it isn't just posting out content because you get likes. You have to post content because you want to change the world. You want to affect the universe, man. And so that's kind of where I am in my place. And maybe I'm being big-headed here. And well, who am I? Well, if I don't do it, who is going to do it? If I don't step up, who will?
Yeah.
Someone has to take the hit. And I have to do it. They shut down Facebook and Instagram. Okay, goodbye. We'll exist somewhere, but we have to do it because who's going to do it if we don't?
Well, you exist on your website, is really what it boils down to, because that's yours. And that's really the way I see it. Yeah. As you look at, I did another podcast this morning. People go, hey, where can people find you at? warhog.com.
Yeah.
And I get it. You can go to the social stuff, but that's a marketing tool. That's to get the word out, to drive people back to the website, because that's where basically all my uncensored information is. That's where I can speak freely. That's where I can post my stuff. In essence, that's the only true place I have control. Every time you press that post button, it's up for a gamble, right? Somebody or the algorithm or some magic box in the background you can't even see can sit there and go, oh, we don't like that. And off you go. So
I think we were stuck at, so we've got 43,000. I think we were stuck at 39,000 for 2 years. It's funny because I picked up 1,000 people the first year. I picked up 25,000 the second year. And then it just grew up to, and then 1 month, I picked up 4,000 people. Like, what's going on here? And then we've been stagnant again. So I don't even know how it rolls, man. I have no clue. I just think they're just playing with us. It's not grown at all for months and months and months and months.
Yeah.
Same exact number.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's all it is. I mean, Mike, I put a post on, it was a while back. 115 gained, 115 lost. How does that work?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, give me one way or the other just to go, hey, but really the same number spot on. And you're just like, come on, man, So, but, I think the key thing is, spotterup.com, go there. That's really your information base. Yeah. That's the true, that's yours. That's what you control. So,
well, your authenticity, and you can definitely tell the passion's in there when all your writings. It's unbelievable. And that, I think, has a lot to do with, unfortunately, everybody has this algorithm on their back, but I think that's where your popularity really is. And I do have faith that it's going to continue to growing. And with all the books that you have, how do you get that many? Did you get one published and then all of a sudden you got these other ideas and you pitched it back to the same publisher? Is that how you did it? Or did you do it all on your own? Because these ideas, they seem driving towards the same thing, but they're completely different books.
Yeah. I mean, I grew up reading so much different material, man. I mean, I read poetry, history, whatever, you name it. I read it, science fiction, mechanical magazines on how to fix cars. And I just kind of write about everything. So like one post, I may talk about religion, philosophy, Tarzan, Edgar Rice Burroughs, and the idea of, Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, and this idea of primitive man and a man who is an eternal, special man with a relationship with God. And so not every post is that complex. Sometimes it's just a meme that's saying, hey, go get some. But I try to put my words. I try to be authentic. I don't copy anybody else. And actually, I write it in like 5 minutes. Those memes, it just pops in my head. And I think a lot of it is just really because I have a lot of an appetite for so much. And then I didn't really understand how to pull it together until I started writing, because I didn't start writing until I was something like 35, almost 40 years old, and I'm 54 now. So the writing actually started really, really coming out on Instagram about 4 years ago. It took everything. I said, maybe I have a talent at this. I don't really know. But so I've got a lot of different books, but really I try to pull it all together. It's my loves, my passions. And I want other people to see that. I want people to see, really, at the end of the day, it's not about Spot Up. It's about seeing that they are part of the fabric of the universe. They are part and parcel. Again, a lot of people, what they do is they say, life sucks. And they say it in a way that's emotional. And if they can do it in a rational way, they can break it down and backwards engineer it, and they can find a solution to their problem. But people are so tied into their issue that they don't really spend the time to educate themselves how to get out of that problem. And that's what I had to do. I had to get out there, put myself out there. And if you don't, you're never going to really learn who you are. So what Spotter Up was an exercise for me to discover, who am I? And warts and all. And I encourage other people to do that. Who cares about judgment or shame, their insecurities? And that's, to me, is being a whole man. It's being a healthy man, which is a lot of it's posturing. Hey, I'm riding Harleys, I'm drinking beers, and I'm a tough guy on Instagram. It's like, yeah, whatever, dude. But me, I got to pay the bills. And my wife's yelling at me to go help in the kitchen. And my kids want this for homework. And I'm like, dude, that's my real life. You know, I'm not riding Harleys and drinking beers all the time. And people can be more real, more authentic. And there's no, you know, there's going to be growth. But I want people to see that be encouraged. We're all struggling. We're all going through something. But you have to go out there and do something about it. If you just bitching all the time, I mean, you're part of the problem. And you're part of your own problem. You're creating your own problem. Get out there and do something. And if you only just change one, if it's equilibrium and you make one change, you go up or down, right? So that's all it is.
Yep.
So that line, just do one thing and you'll find change. That's what I encourage people to do.
That's awesome,
well,
man.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, you're an interesting guy, and the page is very interesting. There's a lot of stuff on there, and I guess we just drive everybody to spotterup.com, and also where are your books available at? I know.
Okay,
can
cool.
you get them on your website?
Yeah, man. So I've got, don't know if you can see it, but We Fight Monsters. I'm sorry. We Wrestle Silently. You can get these on Amazon. Here's the other one. So We Fight Monsters and We Wrestle Silently. And then We Make Ghosts will come out Father's Day, Warriors Devotional, 365 days. You get them on Amazon. You can get them on spotterup.com. You can also look at Shopify. So Spot Up Shopify. We're on Instagram, 45,000 followers. We've got a lot of traffic on spotterup.com. And you may find something. You'll find Rick on there with some cool videos.
Yeah, man.
You know, training. Also Mike Green with Green Ops, other guys that are teaching. There's something for everybody. There's articles on whiskey and divorce and, you know, how to buy a suit for, you know, using a firearm with, or how to buy running shoes. So we've got it all. Yeah. Try to make you a more well-rounded man.
Yeah. Mike, I was going to ask you, are you producing your books via Amazon? Because we had another guest on that he was doing everything via Amazon. Are you doing the same thing?
Yeah, I'll tell you why. Because when I talked to Dave, and let me tell you, for a $35 book, he gets $1.37. Right. And it's just not good, man. And he's done, you know, a fantastic job on that book, We Were Heroes. And I said, Dave, my profit levels are so high because Amazon's doing it. And plus the range. I mean, I'm selling books all over the world, right? So yeah, you go through Kindle Direct Publishing, Amazon bottom. And so you go there, they take you through the process, how to get your book online. And you can choose the paper, whether you want, you know, white paper, black and white photos or colored photos, and it'll raise the cost or lower the cost. And so you determine, I didn't want to make a book that was, you know, $50. That would have been perverted. So I try to make it affordable for people. So I make a little money, but what happens is I make the numbers on it. So, you know, I'm selling books in Denmark, Australia, New Zealand, England, you know, Germany, and I'm getting money off of that, which is great. And if people want to go to my website, I'll sell the books. So when you actually go on Amazon, not only do you publish on Amazon, they let you buy the book at cost. So you buy the book at cost, and then you can sign them and sell them to friends or give them away. So you're not buying that book for $20. You can buy the book for like $1 or something like that, or whatever you know the cost of your book is going to be, all told and done. It's a great way to do it. And you just, you know, can hire an artist. I got an artist, paid him $200-$300 to do the front cover. It's a fantastic way to do it. One of my buddies, Garrick, Navy SEAL, he's coming out with a book on basic firearm safety. Oh, you know, it's been done before, but not in the way that he's doing. He's presenting some really cool material with some simple illustrations and just teach people. But I recommend that people should write. And I tell people all the time, write. I don't care if it's good or bad. I don't know if people all love my stuff or hate it, but just write. I mean, do it for yourself. And maybe you'll get an audience. Just write. Yeah.
Yeah. Mike Lincoln said, great listening to Mike. We'll definitely check out his books. It's been a tough year. Yeah, man. Thanks for the comment, Mike. Definitely check out Spotter Up.
Thanks, Mike.
So, well, I tell you what, don't check out. Okay. We're going to do our closing up here, and then we'll sidebar, but great having you here, man. Thank you for your service and your continued service with all the great stuff that you're pushing out, and a lot of people you're helping. I guarantee you that, my man.
Thanks, bro. Thanks, man. Yeah. Thanks, Rick.
Thank you, Mike.
What a great show, man.
Dude.
What a great show. Great guy, man. Doing a lot of great stuff. A lot of good stuff. Yeah. So, hey, everybody that's listening on any of the audio platforms, whether that be Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, any of those, go ahead and hit those comments and Give us a rating. Let's bump up these ratings so we can get a better reach. If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and smash that notification bell. Well, we got another one in the books, Rick. A lot of fun, buddy. Great guest.
Yeah,
and then this is a range week this week. So,
yep. And if you guys like what you're hearing, man, please pass the word on to your friends and let them know. It's how do we make each other better each day? So appreciate you guys tuning in. Appreciate you spending your valuable time with us. Awesome show, Mark.
Hey, take care, Rick. Talk to you soon,
too, buddy.
bud. All right,
Yeah, man.